I'll remind everybody, please mute your cell phones and do not stream the press conference. When you're called upon in the room, please identify yourself by name and your affiliation, and wait for the microphone to get there so we can hear your questions. Those of you on Zoom, if you have a question, you can send it in. Just raise your hand, and we will do that as well. We will start things with an opening statement from Coach Fraley.
Yeah, really, really proud of our team. We feel like this is a big step for us. We were here last year. I think we learned a lot about what the tournament is like, what it feels like, and I thought we were prepared. And I thought the thing we've been talking about a lot is real confidence comes from toughness, not whether or not the ball goes in or not. And thought we had that. We knew Harvard was going to be a tough matchup. We felt like they were playing their best basketball through, especially the Ivy League tournament. And I thought our preparation really helped us to be successful tonight. But a lot of credit to Harvard. Harmony Turner is a great player. What Coach Moore has done there in such a short amount of time is pretty incredible. So we had a lot of respect for them going into the game, and a lot of credit to them for the season they've had.
We will now direct our next segment to our student athletes, Jocelyn Tate and Grace Van Sluten, who had both big games. So if any questions in the room, please raise your hand and we will get a microphone to you. Start on the front row right here.
Tom Shanahan from Spartan Mag. There was a lot of talk before the game about playoff experience, tournament experience. You got your first game. Mm-hmm. Jocelyn, you had a big role defending Harmony. What did you talk about your games today?
I honestly just had a lot of fun. Like I said, I've never been to the NCAA tournament, so I was really excited coming into this game. And I think we played with a lot of intensity, and, we really wanted this win, and I think that's what we went out and did. And, yeah, overall, I just had a lot of fun, and just happy to still be one of the 32 teams still playing.
Jocelyn?
I felt like we were just prepared, and although my matchup was Harmony, I felt like it was a team effort. We practiced and worked on it, and we communicated well. We moved together, and I thought that was really good.
Next question in the back, far right.
I'm starting with the Associated Press. Jocelyn, you had a three-pointer during the big run in the third quarter. How important was it, the way you guys responded after they got within a point?
Well, we just like to get stop, score, stops and build on our leads. So we don't want them to feel comfortable and make comebacks. So we just like to, build our leads. And I just said the same thing, but it's okay. Yeah, we like to build our leads here. Yeah.
Right here. Stay on the right.
Jocelyn, you mentioned that Marissa says career hoop stats. Sorry, Jocelyn, you mentioned that your matchup was Turner. What was the game plan against her? What was the scout? Because she's kind of everywhere every game.
Just keep her off the three-point line and gap help in the paint.
Any more questions from the front row right here?
Coach, you talked about the slow start last year.
We're going to do the student athletes first.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Okay.
You guys can talk about it, too. You talked about the slow start last year, and you got off to a fast start you wanted this year, and then the offense went really stagnant for a while. Were you trying to force the ball inside too much? It seemed like they were knocking a lot of balls away, or just what happened after that quick start?
I think we just got away from our ball movement. I think we started the game off, pushing the ball in transition and really swinging the ball around, and I think we got away from that, which definitely hurts our game and does make it a lot more stagnant. It makes it a lot easier for the defense to guard. So I think that was the main problem there.
Over here to the far left.
I'm Julian. I'm from the Globe. If I counted it right, this would have been the lowest scoring game for Harvard and the third lowest scoring game for you guys, which I think you guys knew that was going to happen coming in. It was two really good defenses, but I was wondering as players, do you get up for games like this where stops are going to win this kind of game?
Grace, we'll start with you.
I definitely get excited. I think we are a very defensive-sided team, and we take a lot of pride in our defense, and, we love to press and kind of fly around and make other teams feel really pressured and hectic. So, I think it was a lot of fun, and, Harvard's press is really good, and it took a lot of preparation coming into that, and, they definitely got some steals off of that. But yeah, I mean, I definitely get up for more defensive games. I think it's a lot of fun, especially, you know, the physicality and everything like that. So yeah, I get excited for it.
Jocelyn?
Yeah, but exactly what she said. I would just say I felt like we knew both teams were really good at defense, and we just wanted to win that matchup. And our defense also helps our offense, so that's like our fuel.
Question over here to the right.
Hi, Miles Rosenhorn with the Harvard Crimson. Can you talk a little bit about the role of free throws in winning this game? It seemed like, I believe you guys scored 12 more points off of free throws than Harvard did. And yeah, I mean, was it part of the game plan to get to the free throw line and win it there? Or, yeah, can you just elaborate?
Jocelyn, we'll start with you.
I would just say I think getting fouled and getting to the line is a part of our offense. I wouldn't say it's anything like different or spectacular, but that's our every game type of thing. And we work on our free throws all the time, so that we are prepared in these situations.
Yeah, I think drawing fouls and getting to the free throw line is a part of every game plan. I think as much as you can get to the free throw line, that's, you know, your benefit. And yeah, like you said, we spend a lot of time on it and work on it, so when we do get those fouls, we're ready to knock them down.
Anybody else got a question in here? If not, I have one for both of the players. Some teams don't like playing physical basketball, the physicality of it. Do you like to enforce your physicality on those opponents just as much as you try to absorb the physicality from them? Grace, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I mean, I love being physical. You know, I like that contact, and I think it's definitely taken some getting used to. I think that's something that I've really improved on while I've been at Michigan State, is absorbing contact and getting used to that physicality. But yeah, I mean, I love it. I think it's a lot of fun.
Jocelyn, even for a guard?
Yeah, I think it's 1 through 15 on our team. We're really big competitors, and we want to win, and we know that we can win that physicality margin.
Any more questions in the room? Yeah, sure. Back right.
Grace, you actually had a double-double without any turnovers. It's only like the 13th performance after you had in your steals and blocks. Was just knowing that Harvard was the kind of defensive team there, was that kind of a focus for you?
Yeah, I think so. I think at halftime and after the third quarter, coach was really challenging me to get some boards, and, you know, the rest of my coaches. So that's kind of what I went in and did. And, you know, we knew that they send 5 to the glass, and rebounding was going to be a really big part of this game. And it definitely wasn't the best, but, you know, I think we turned it up a notch towards the end of the game.
Any more questions in the room? If not, we do have a question on Zoom. So, Rob, when you get unmuted and ready, go ahead. Rob, are you there? Hello, Rob. I guess not. Oh, well. If nobody else has, oh, you got one more question? Go far left.
One of my favorite quotes from yesterday, which shows how boring I am, was your coach said y'all have multiple presses, and it depends on you guys to determine how effective it's going to be. And I watched the first 2 minutes, and I was like, oh, they fly around a lot. You guys touch your chin, and like a trap comes about, and I was like, yo, this is going to be nuts. What is it like when you guys are communicating, and then how do you manage all the different schemes that you have at your disposal, and when to use them, and how did they work out today? You know.
Grace, take that one first since you're on camera.
I thought they went really well. I think in order for press to work, you have to have a lot of trust in your teammates, and I think that's something that we have. So, you know, just knowing that your teammate's going to rotate to the next player and, you know, kind of close that trap. And I want to give a shout out. I think Joss kind of makes our press go. You know, she's out there flying around and tipping balls and doing whatever she can. She throws her body on the floor, and I think that's kind of, that energy gets the rest of us going for us to kind of, you know, get up in the press and everything like that. So a lot of props to Jocelyn.
Thanks, buddy.
Jocelyn?
I would just say, like, the experience, and then how much we've been working on it throughout this year. I feel like Grace, everybody caught on so fast to the press, and once you know how to read the defense and move together, it makes it all really fun and easy. It's really fun. So I think that's why we're really good at it, because we have fun with it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, we get tired. But it's really fun to fly around and sprint out.
All right, we're going to space one more time with Rob on Zoom. Rob, you there?
Yeah, thanks, guys. Rob Brown, Ivy Hoops Online, for both student athletes. After Harvard's season and last week's Ivy tournament, there was a lot of talk about them being a trendy upset pick. Is that stuff that you heard, or do you tune all that out this time of the year?
Jocelyn, you lead off.
I did hear about it, but it wasn't it's not a big deal. Everybody has their own opinions, and that's okay. I think it adds plot to life, so make it fun. And plus, they're a good team, so yeah, we respect them, and yeah.
Grace, final word from you.
Yeah, I mean, kind of the same. They're a really good team, and I think other people's picks don't really matter to us. We know what we can do, and we just prepare for everybody like they're the same.
Grace, Jocelyn, thanks for your time. Congratulations
Thank
on the
you.
win, and we'll see you again on Monday.
Thanks so much.
We'll continue the press conference with Coach Freilich. And, well, wait a minute, you got to introduce this young lady here first.
Yeah, this is our superstar, my 8-year-old Clara Freilich. What do you like to do after the Spartans win?
The victory gritty.
The victory gritty.
She was studying that stat sheet pretty hard, too.
Yep. No, she loves her Spartans, and I'm glad she's here with me.
All right, questions in the room for Coach? Yes, sir.
Yeah, if you could
Hold on.
comment about
Microphone. There you go.
what I was trying to ask you earlier, if you could comment about the fast start you wanted.
Yeah.
And then you scored some free throws and off of a steal, but otherwise the offense wasn't producing anything for a long stretch.
Yeah.
And then you came back in the second half and were able to get the ball inside a lot. Just talk about the adjustments you made, what they were doing to you, that everything.
We got off to a great start. We knew that was important. It's important every game. I think it's really important in this tournament. And then they're a good team. They clawed back, but part of it we were fouling. So during that stretch, I think in the first quarter they had 2 field goals and 7 free throws. And so it's really hard to get in a flow when you're fouling. And so I thought that got the game choppy a little bit for us. And then when that happened, we just weren't moving the ball the same. I thought we were trying to do too much off of 1 pass or 2 passes when, Harvard's too good of a defense to get a good shot off of that. So I just thought the flow, we were getting stops early and playing better offense. And when we started fouling, I thought it made us just kind of play disconnected.
Next question in the room. Back right.
They're below there in the third quarter, and is that natural for your team to kind of be unfazed by that and just get after it again, or what was your impression of what happened there?
We got kind of lucky. I mean, I think we gave up 4 shots on a possession and they didn't score. So we kind of dodged one there. But we play in the Big Ten, and 12 of the 18 teams in our league are in the tournament. So we have seen it all. We really have. We have seen the best teams in the country, the best players, tournament teams pretty much night in and night out. So, no, we don't get faced. I mean, we've been down big. We've come back. We've been up big. We've given up leads. It's part of the game. I think there has to be, an endurance for the game. But, after that, it's like, if we don't control our defensive rebounding, this game's going to be really hard. And we didn't do a good job on our defensive rebounding. That's something we have to clean up. But when we did, they were rebounding so aggressively. We scored, or we were able to go get fouled. So, that's something we need to do better. But I thought we dodged a bullet there early and then settled in.
Next question. Over here to the left.
Obviously, Harmony ended up with a tougher night, but more so less about how you guarded her, but how did you take away her options, right? The roller, you sent help immediately on rolls. I think they got 3 layups off of those. She had to make long passes to corners.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It just made it seemed like you tried to make it very difficult for her not only to score herself, but even generate something outside of that.
Yeah, I mean, we knew coming in she's clearly the focal point of their offense and their team, and so our game plan was to take away her threes, be really good in our gaps, and be really early in help, because a lot of times in their 2-man action they throw it to the roll. So we wanted to take away that first option, and when she drives, she's a tough one-on-one matchup, but we could guard together. Really try to take away the paint. And we had 3 matchups on her. We're fortunate that we went in the game knowing, Jaden could guard her, Jocelyn could guard her, Nyla could guard her. And we've watched a lot of games where there's just a matchup on her. And we felt like going in, we're going to have 3 matchups on her. We're going to switch up the matchup. She works hard. I mean, she's got a motor. She never gets tired. She goes after every ball. And we knew we were going to have to change that up. And I thought all 3 did a great job. And as a team, we did a good job. But those were the priorities for us.
I'm not sure if this is the same for you, but these games are really pretty to me. They might not be the same for you. But is there something you can appreciate about just like how much effort goes into making the win was because you made sure they didn't score, not because you did score.
Yeah, this time of the year, that's a little easier to control, right? How do we make the game hard on the defensive end? And, I feel like something that we feel like is a strength of our team is we have a lot of talent. So often it gets talked about somebody being hot on offense. Well, you can get hot on defense. And that's something we can control. So our preparation, of, hey, let's guard together. Let's get back to, we came off the Big Ten tournament and we were so disappointed with our defense. We just felt like we got away from so many of our principles off the ball. And so, these 2 weeks, I felt like we've worked really hard on getting back to being much, much better, building pressure as a unit off the ball as well. And tonight I thought, it wasn't perfect, but it was good enough.
We got a question on Zoom from Rob. Go ahead, Rob.
Thanks. Coach, Harvard obviously has a really strong defense, but if there's any one area that may be vulnerable, it was their free throw rate. Is that something that you purposefully took advantage of?
I don't know purposefully. We just felt like if we were early in help and early in gaps, we would do a much better job of defending them without fouling. And a lot of our free throws came off of when we actually did get a defensive rebound. They were so aggressive to rebound that they weren't back. And I felt like that was where we got fouled. And, Grace drew 10 fouls we knew coming in. We felt like she'd be a tough matchup for them inside. First half, we didn't have a breakthrough with that, but in the second half, we did.
Over here to the right.
I think you might have just answered my question with saying Grace drew 10 fouls, but, you look at a lot of the stats, assists, turnovers, steals, blocks, and a lot of them are even, but they had to foul 25 times.
Yeah.
And you guys only have 16 fouls. That's from being a physical team and being in control of the game, or how do you explain that?
I thought it was a combination. I thought Grace did a good job imposing her will in the paint in the second half, and I thought, as I shared, when we did defensive rebound, we had numbers advantages, and I thought we did a good job being aggressive to the rim and getting to the free throw line off of that and getting some and ones.
Any more questions in the room? One more over here to the left.
One more dope question, because I'm curious. So when Harmony comes off, I don't want to say the exact action, but basically when she gets to a screen and you decide to send 2 at her. Right?
Yep.
Like, how do you go about saying, like, we trust that everybody's going to, like, be in the right spots to once you send that extra defender, and that also she just has to make the right read there, and that you're kind of, I don't want to say gambling, but you're saying, hey, like, we'll make you try to make the right play. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we did put 2 on the ball on her a lot. We hedged a lot of the ball screens and handoffs. She did get us on some splits. But we wanted to get the ball out of her hands. You watched the Ivy League tournament, and she was so dominant. So we just knew as a team, if we were going to do that, then off the ball, you have to load to the ball, right? You've got to be able to guard it together. And like I shared, it wasn't perfect, but I'm proud of our defensive effort, and I thought she's a very, very good player. And as a group, I like the way we dialed in on that end tonight.
Final question will go to Zoom and Rob.
Thanks, Coach. With your relationship, your past history with Carrie, could you talk a little bit about what you might have said before and after the game with her?
I mean, it was pretty quick. There's not a lot of time with our little hug before, but I just told her congratulations and good luck. And it's, what she's done at Harvard in such a short amount of time is so impressive. I know it's going to continue. Everything she's part of, everything she touches, excellence becomes attached to it. So it's hard to get here, and she's done it in a really short amount of time.
All right, that'll wrap it up. Coach Fralick, congratulations, and we'll see you Monday.
All right, y'all. Go Green.